Hello, I'm Kimberly and you're watching Simply Living in a Small Town. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week so far, despite some crazy weather that we're having. In the last few days we've had rain, high winds, and snow. So it's been interesting. And unfortunately, if you're living with chronic pain, such as I am, to do with like autoimmune and such, the weather highly affects you. So like you never know how you're going to feel when you get up in the morning of a day, and the weather is a huge impact on that. So that's very hard. Sunday morning I got up, before I got up, I could tell something was really wrong with my feet. And when I got up, I looked at my feet and they were very, very swollen, like they've never been before, even my toes. And my feet were really red. I had redness all over my toes and such. So my feet just felt really bad that day. And we had actually I say it was Sunday morning, it was Saturday morning. Sorry about that. But so we had ran some errands that day. That's why I remember now that it was Saturday. My husband and I had went and ran some errands. And it literally, I think we went like 3-4 places. So the last place we went was Lowe's, and we were walking around in Lowe's, and it just literally got to the point. I had these boots on. They're kind of like these boots that are like furry, and they come up just under my knees, and I love them because they're super comfy and like soft and warm. So I was wearing those, and it literally got to the point where I couldn't stand the pain in my right foot. I literally took my boot off in the store and I put it in the cart. So here I am, like pushing the cart around, wearing one boot and the other, I don't have any boot on, just a sock. Like, so I normally would, I mean, I've never done anything like that, but it literally, that's how bad it was hurting. It was so bad. It was terrible. So that actually brings me something else that I did want to bring up, and I kind of actually forgot about it right before this video. So what I ended up doing that night when I came home is I did a paraffin wax treatment on my feet. I have the machine to do that. I very thankfully, actually, a friend of mine, probably a month or two ago, he had actually brought me that, and I had never seen one before. And it is the coolest thing. I mean, he was telling me about how he said his dad swore by using that. And what he was talking about was his dad had really bad arthritis, and he said, his hands would swell up really bad, which also that day my hands were very swollen too. But I've been having trouble with my hands and fingers being swollen and my knuckles being very swollen and stiff. So that's kind of like a given. I wasn't as worried about my hands. But anyway, he said that his dad swore by this thing. So I thought it was wild because I had never heard of this or seen one of these. And I was like surprising because I've done a lot of my own research on arthritis and such. So I ended up using that night. And I'm a true believer in it now. I mean, this is the second time I've used it on my feet, which really right now is cold as the weather is. I really should be using it every week. And I was actually explaining that to my husband. I said, if this thing works this wonderful, I literally need to use this like once a week at least. So I think that would be It's just really good for you. So it actually helps to improve circulation, and of course it makes your skin soft and more supple and such like that too. I guess people pay, from what I read on the internet, people pay to get these paraffin wax treatments, which, like I said, I've never heard of it before, but it's very helpful. So like, if if you have arthritis, or I'm going to say even lupus, because my feet, I have lupus and with Raynaud's, and I have had, like last year, I had mentioned that in a previous video, I had 2 really bad toes last year. Every winter, well, for the last 3 years, every winter I start having really bad issues with my toes, more than anything, and they will turn blue. I will get red marks on them. They will swell, they will hurt, they will, so last year I had 2 of them that were really bad, and one got to the point that because I will also get blisters on the bottom of them, and then those blisters will rupture, and it's terrible. So anyway, one of them ended up getting infected, even though I kept tending to it like daily and such, which I didn't have this paraffin wax treatment thing last year. I didn't even know existed. So I've had a lot of really bad issue, specifically with my toes, but my feet in the last few years. And I say that, and it's just been the last few years. It's just been in the last year that we discovered, that I had lupus with Raynaud's, which, so, anyway, the paraffin wax treatment is wonderful. So I'm just saying, for any of you that have a similar type issue, you might want to try to get one. I don't think they are like very expensive as far as that. So I just thought I would bring that up, because what I wanted to say was, like, so the next day after I used it, literally the next morning, my swelling had all gone down on my feet. My toes had mainly gone down. I had just a little bit of swelling in my toes yet, but all the pain in both those feet and toes was gone. The pain and the heat, because I had a lot of heat and redness too. And so the next day, they were just like almost completely back to normal by the next morning. Then by the rest of the day or whatnot, like they basically went back to normal. So if you've experienced this where your feet swell up really bad, it's painful in that it feels like skin stretching. So that was like the pain I was having. It was like I was gonna bust out of my skin. I don't know how else to say that, but it was extremely painful. So if any of you have issues like that, maybe I would look into possibly getting one of those, because it's something that you can easily do at home. I also soak my feet. Now that was what I was doing last winter, was I was just soaking my feet every 2 to 3 times or so a week with Epsom salt and really hot, warm water. So you could also do that, but as I'm just talking about as far as the feet swelling and such, because that's also good to just soak your feet and do I have a massager that you can put water in, and all that, and that's nice too. But the paraffin wax treatment, I'm a total believer in now. So anyway, I'm sorry to go on about that for so long, but I just want people to know that that was out there. So I meant to mention at the beginning of this, before I got into all that. So this is the Wednesday WIP video, even though it's kind of later Wednesday for me, but I still have like my days and nights kind of flipped around. I'm telling you, y'all, I'm having trouble because my husband he's leaving for work around 2 or a little before or something, and it's just I'm like all messed up. So I'm staying up later, and then but I'm still getting up like reasonable in the morning. I'm not like, you know, sleeping till noon or 2 in the afternoon or anything, but I'm just like, I feel like um I'm all out of whack, you know, like the way that I'm my schedule my schedule is all out of whack. Excuse me. So my schedule is all out of whack, but I don't feel drained all the time. Like ever since the beginning of the year, I mean, I'm just happy. Like we're in a new year, new beginning. Like I had all these things that, well, I have a lot of stuff planned for this year, like a lot of goals and things. And I'm just truly excited about that. So, and I have a lot of other good things I know coming on the horizon this year. And I'm just truly excited about that. But not only that, just to be creating. I love to create. And I just get these ideas like spinning through my mind, and I have to grab I have to stop and grab control of that, like, because I have all these ideas, and it's crazy, like so many that it can become so overwhelming to me. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing next? So, and I am one of these people. I have a lot of projects right now going. I always do at the same time. So, which is fine. But, you know, I have to reel myself back, like, to get back and focus. Focus on what I want to do, you know, what I want to do right now or whatnot. So, like that. So, for my WIPS today, I actually have a few here. I mean, I feel like I'm starting off the year really good crochet wise too, because I like with what I'm already doing is like way more than what I started out with last year. So, well, way bigger. Now, you may not think so, and of course, that could be true if, like, depending on the person, you know. But for me, I didn't go back to crochet till really right before the beginning of last year. And I'm going to go into this for just a minute because I want to talk about this a little bit. So I actually decided to get back into crochet right before the beginning of the new year last year. So around the end of 2022, it was like in the fall. The reason being is that, well, so to back up, my house had burnt down at the end of 2020. I had a lot of yarn. I had a lot of completed stuff that I was going to sell. I had a lot of tutus. I had like 60 tutus that were done that I was going to sell. I had a lot of things, period, that I was, even woodworking stuff that I had. So anyway, there's just a lot of stuff that I lost. I mean, we lost most of everything that we had. So, well, I had a huge amount of fabric too, and my sewing machines, and just a lot of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to be honest, it hurt so much that all that stuff I had created was destroyed, that it literally paralyzed me in such a way that, as far as crocheting and such, I had thought about crocheting numerous times, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to pick up a hook and the yarn and just do it. And it was just, it hurt so much to lose those things. And no, those aren't, you know, overall, that's not the thing that, you know, I missed the most or what, as far as what happened there. But it hurt in such a way that that stuff was destroyed, um, that I just really wasn't ready for a long time to go back to doing it. And it wasn't just that, you know, I wasn't sewing or anything else either as far as that, you know. I was just basically working after the house burnt down, trying to clean up what, the mess that was there, and trying to salvage what I could. So that was my primary focus. It was like I had a full-time job times two, because that was a huge mess. But anyway, so I wasn't ready to do that. So this last year, like I said, the end of 2022, right before, you know, we went into 2023, I had decided it was time to start, crocheting again, because I was, at that point, at the end there, I knew that the plan was to have, my knee replacement done in March, or not March, but I mean in the springtime. It did end up being, I mean, we did end up scheduling it for the beginning of March or whatever, but I did end up having it done in March. But I had decided that, I mean, even before we scheduled the date, the doctor and I had talked, and I had planned on having it done in the springtime, because I felt that that was the best time for me to have it done. So with that in mind, I knew that I was going to be down, you know, to some degree initially after having a total knee replacement. So, like, in my mind, it was kind of exciting, because when I thought that, like, crochet is like, that's the time. I will have to be sitting, I will have to be laying in a bed or what, and I will need to be doing something, because this will drive me crazy, and that's the ticket, is crochet. So I had planned to, I was like, I'm gonna start now before I, you know, before I get there. And so that's what I did. I slowly picked back up. I had bought a bunch of cotton from Mary Maxim in 2022. Okay, so like a year before I even started to crochet again, actually. This was like the beginning of 2022. I had bought a whole bunch of cotton from Mary Maxim, the little ones, that are the little balls that are, Premier Home Cotton. So I decided that, because I had bought tons of those, like a bunch. So I started with those, which was great because they were small, and just started making small things. And that's what I really needed to do, is just kind of start back into it and kind of ease into it. And that's basically what happened. Like, I stayed at my parents' after I had my knee replaced, and my mother crochets, and she actually knits too. And so that was great, because of an evening and a lot, I was actually sitting in her recliner after I had my knee replaced. And so I was sitting there crocheting, and she was sitting on the other side of the end table by me crocheting. So that was actually just, I mean, it was the right time. It was great. So that's what started me back into this journey, and I am just loving, I'm just loving it. I really am. And I'm so excited to see everything that this year is going to entail and bring this way. And I really think it's going to be wonderful. So there's that. Now, before I get into the WIPS, another thing real quick. So I wanted to mention a lady, I think her name is Jane, from Scraptastic Yarns. She shouted me out today, and I greatly appreciate that. She seems like such a sweetheart. She does crochet, has a channel at Scraptastic Yarns, and she does crochet, and she also has another channel, and I cannot remember what it is. I'm subscribed to both, but the other channel is a sewing channel, and she makes these really pretty tote bags, like all kinds of different prints and things are really, really pretty. So she had also left me a really sweet comment like a couple weeks ago, and I greatly appreciate that. It was so kind and so sweet. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. And then someone else left a couple of really, really sweet comments too that it just made me smile. It just made me so happy. Like, I greatly appreciate it. And the username was Crochet Me This, aka Rebecca Biss 7771. So I wanted to mention that really quick. I just wanted y'all to know that these kind of things truly, truly brighten my day. And I mean, that's just so sweet. I just truly appreciate it. I really, really do. So now I'm going to get into the WIPS that y'all are waiting for me to show you instead of me just keep talking. So, but it's okay, right? So the first thing I'm going to show you now, recently, Miss Crystal from Bag O' Day Crochet, she put out a tutorial, and it's the pattern is My Curtain Call Hexagon Cardigan. So I love the one that she has in the picture. She's wearing a red one, and it is just beautiful on her, and I really like that. So, but I started with one. Mine is not red. I want to do a red one too, because I just think that would be very, very pretty. Because I really liked the one that she had on. So, but I had already planned this, that I wanted to make myself, I had planned to make myself a black cardigan, because I just need one just to throw on here and there, you know, and that's always like a staple for me, is like a black cardigan. And I don't even own one anymore, y'all. So, I mean, all my clothes burn up in my house, and so most of the clothes I still have are actually donated clothes. So this is kind of a wonderful thing for me, because these items here, like I'm going to create, or initially some is for me, and then other stuff is stuff that I'm actually going to put up for sale on my Etsy store. So here is what I have so far of my Hexagon cardigan, and you can really see it's kind of like lines and I just think that looks so neat. And the reason it looks like that, so she is doing this, it's actually a double herringbone stitch, and it's really cool. I'd never done this before, so I really enjoy it. Like, the hang of it real super quick, because it's not much different than a regular double crochet. It's a little different though, but I love the way this looks. It's so cool with the little lines and stuff in it. So I'm still working on this now. Unfortunately, so I am almost to the end of row 15, and this is supposed to be 18 rows for one panel. So unfortunately, the skein of yarn I had, the way it was wound, both the tails were sticking out the end like crisscross. It wasn't wound right, is what I'm saying. The skein was not wound right. It was a mess. I literally ended up cutting, I think 3 or 4 times, and then I still ended up with a ball of junk at the end that I cut off, and I honestly didn't do anything with till today. I finally fixed it, and I think it took me like 40 minutes to get it all undone. Like, I could not believe. But the yarn, the yarn is Hobby Lobby yarn. I love this yarn. And this is in the colorway Nocturnal. And it's basically, it looks like a black and a gray, basically. It's a marled. And if you go back where I was making hats right before Christmas, there's actually 2 different hats that I made in the same colorway. So it's a 4-weight yarn. I really like the color, and I just wanted this for a basic, you know, cardigan for myself. So, but I've got to go buy more yarn. I already knew that. I only had 1 skein of it, and it's fine. So I'm placing another order with Hobby Lobby anyway. So that was the one. So that was one thing. And then the next thing, now I have 3 of the same thing here. So I have 3 different WIPS here is what I have left of the same thing, except for there's a little variation of difference on the 3. So I'll show you the first one. I have gotten into this that I want to make cocoon cardigans. So I've gotten like on a roll here, y'all, and like obsessed with, you know, wanting to make these. And initially I'm trying to do this where I'm like making them for myself initially, and then I would like to make some to sell. So I mean, I've never made them before, so this is like, I'm just having all kinds of fun here with this. And here's one of them. So this is just, you know, granny square, but I love this colorway. This colorway is Toffee Brickle. It's Carrot Cake Big Cake 4-weight yarn, and I love this colorway. I actually already made a poncho this last summer out of this same yarn. This was what I had left, so it's no big deal. I'm just gonna buy another cake of it and continue working from there. So it's like, you know, no big deal. This is kind of like an opportunity to use some of these things up and then move on. So that's one of them. That's the smallest piece. This is the next one. And this is a one. I mean, I love the Toffee Brickle. I love those colors. It's so beautiful. But this is the one that really, y'all, has my heart. Has my heart, the colors. Well, that's if I can not lose my yarn here. With the back up here so you can see it. I'm trying to see if you can see it. See all those, oh my gosh, all those pretty colors. I am in love with this, like, so much. It has purples, greens, turquoises, or teals. And then I am adding this now because I ran out of this. Now the variegated, this, the main color, or the main yarn, I should say, it is Red Heart roll with a melange and the colorway Catwalk. And I just love it. It is, this is a roving style yarn. And I love that personally. I don't know. I've used one before. I have a poncho actually that I made out of a Premier yarn that's a roving style yarn. And I just love it. Like, that thing turned out fantastic. The yarn is just like, it's like the same as this. I mean, but oh, I love it. I love it so much. So this is like my absolute favorite right now. I ran out of this, and so now I'm using this around the edge, and this is going to be like all my trim is going to be in this. This is, I love this yarn, and it's in the mixed berry, very purple, which I love. So I am super, super, super excited with this one. I mean, they all have me like, I'm just excited to see, like, you know, once they're all put together. But that's like the one I love the most. Now, I'm going to put this on my chair. Okay, here's the last one. Now, this is actually, I'm trying to, yeah, this is the one I started first. Okay. And I want to show you something else here in a second. But this one here, this is heavier. And you'll see why. This is the one I started first, though. And it's very interesting. Okay, that is not here. So you can see that a lot better. Now, this main yarn, there we go, that's showing up better. Because this is like a plum color. Well, it's actually called eggplant, the color at the top. This main part, the main body of this, and it looks like black, whites, and grays, basically. Well, so that's actually, I'm holding two together, two strands for that. And what it was is, so I have this. This is what it is. The other one that went with that is all taken apart, but this is exactly what it is right here. And this is Mary Maxim Anti-Pill Stripes. Now, I don't believe that, I don't believe they have this anymore. I got this last year, and I want to say, I mean, as far as I know, in other words, this was discontinued, is what it is. It's a 3-weight too, which is why I paired it with another, strand of yarn. So, but these are like huge. This says, and it says approximately, but anyway, 600 yards, and it's a 3-weight. So the coloring I like, but this is like, I'm trying to get a hold of this. It is thin. I mean, like if you can see that. There we go. It's not, it's pretty thin is what I'm saying. So I used it with the Lion Brand Pound of Love that I just showed recently that I finally got from Joanne. And that is a gray color. Okay, well, that gray color is so light, first of all, that it actually looks cream color, like a light off-white. And then you got this. Y'all, so this is, it looks interesting. It looks interesting. So the other thing is, and I know I mentioned it in that video about the Lion Brand Pound of Love. So that yarn specifically, that's just for anybody, well, for anybody, but for anybody that has never used it, that is truly like a 3-weight. It is a 4-weight yarn. I don't know how they get that because it's literally a 3-weight. It's that thin because I put it up against my 3-weight yarns, and it's the same. It looks the same. So regardless, that's fine. In other words, I thought, well, that will pair well. That would pair well with this. So that's why I did that. The other thing about this is, so when I got this, so these were, when I got this last year, it was only $3. So I ordered 2 of them. Because I'm like, oh, that's cheap. And I'd never seen that. And I liked the color. Looked cool. Well, I got it. And then, I was looking at it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just literally so thin. So I was like, ugh. So the reason why I decided to start with this yarn specifically for this project here was because I just literally, I want to get rid of this yarn. So this is the second one that I have. So I still have, like, I've used up almost all of the first one. This is the second one I have, so I still need to use this one up. Now I'm going to show you something else. I got this too. Now this is very pretty, and it's the same yarn. Now, interestingly enough, I was about to pitch a fit over this last year, because I'll tell you why. I ordered a Lion brand mandala. Well, I ordered a bunch of them from Mary Maxim. There's one that the colorway looks like this, and I can't remember what it's called. I've already made a poncho. I mean, I'd already used it previously, so I'd already made a poncho out of one, but I can't remember what the colorway is. I ordered it again. I ordered 3 of these. Well, not 3 of these. 3 of the 3 of the Lion brand mandala that looks similar to this, okay? And they turned around and sent me 2 of the Lion brand mandala in this similar color way. And then they sent me this, which, so, and understand, this was $3 on their website. So they sent me this, which, the thing about this wasn't even an option on their website. So where this came from, I don't even know, because this was the only option. This colorway was the only option for this on their website. But all of a sudden, this was substituted in my order for Lion brand. And I was like, well, I like that. That's okay. But, I mean, what if I had needed... In other words, if I was wanting to use all 3 of the Lion brands in one project, I would have, like, been really upset. Because, like, this is not the same. So, this doesn't, and honestly, that was another thing. This is anti-pill acrylic. But this doesn't even feel like this. It's just not the same as the Lion brand mandala. Actually, I think it's a little bit smaller, but it's like the feel of it and everything is not even the same. So what I'm saying is, I would never put this in a project with those 2. That would not make sense at all. So there was that. It was very strange, and I don't know what that was about. I mean, I guess, like, it's like, oh, we don't have any more of that the Lion brand mandala, so we'll just put that in there, and, you know, we have that in the warehouse. I don't know. It's close enough. I don't know. And honestly, I've never had an issue with Mary Maxim. I actually just love, like, getting stuff from them. I always get my stuff quick. So, like, I don't know. That was a strange thing. I'm going to move my stuff real quick here so I can show you. The border on this, that is the, like, purplish color. This is called eggplant, and that is it's Big Twist that I just got. Excuse me. It's Big Twist yarn that I just got from Joann, and it's in the color eggplant. So that's what that edge is. Now, the reason I'm not sure how this is gonna, well, we'll just see, is how I look at it. I am not sure about it currently, but I'm just gonna keep going and see what it. I'm gonna be real honest. I mean, I'm gonna keep it for myself, so I'm not worried, you know. So I'm just gonna keep going with it as it is, and we'll just see, you know, what happens, like what it looks like. Some of the gray, though, in that, I don't know if you could tell that, but some of the light gray, by the way, that was called grays. that was a colorway of that anti-pill acrylic Mary Maxim yarn that this is. Some of it though looks like a purplish, it's purplish color. Some of the like lighter part of that. So I was kind of hoping that this eggplant color would kind of draw out that purplish like tinge in some of this, and I can still see it when I look at it closely. I can see it, and even my husband said the same thing. I asked him, I said, does this look gray or does it look purple? He's like, no, it does look like it's got purple in it. So I'm like, I'm not crazy, it looks like it does. So we'll just see how this turns out, right? So I am really proud of my projects, but this is what I'm currently working on so far. I also have several things I have finished up, but that's for another video. So this has been long enough. It's 40 minutes already. So I hope everyone has a fantastic day, evening, whenever you're watching this. Until next time, God bless and bye now.